This episode of Podcast Portugal is brought to you by Revolut Business. If you run a company here in Portugal or anywhere across Europe, you already know how painful old-school banking can be, slow transfers, hidden fees, and endless paperwork. Revolut Business changes that. With a Revolut Business account, you can get lightning-fast international payments, multi-currency wallets, and smart expense management all in one app. And here's the best part. When you sign up using our special link, Podcast Portugal receives €400 as a referral bonus. It's a great way to streamline your business finances and support the show at the same time. So if you've been thinking about upgrading your business banking, now's the moment. Just click Revolut Business in the show notes and get started today. This is Justin West from Podcast Portugal. I would like to welcome Kelly Dugmore today. She's going to tell us all about a new campaign, all about caring. Kelly is the CEO and founder of Algarve Care Services, and I'm going to let her talk to you about this and some new things that we have coming up for Christmas. So, Kelly, a big warm welcome to you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
good to
welcome.
be here.
Yeah, finally we managed to organize it. We had some fun and games today, especially with Zoom. It's not the most user-friendly interface.
No, definitely not. But that's all right. That's okay. We got there.
Yeah, we got there. Great. So, Kelly, I tell you what, let's because you have a really interesting story, and I think we should start off with how did you form the Algarve Care Services, and what do you guys do, and what's it all about?
Yeah, sure. So me and my then husband and our 3 children moved to Portugal over in 2017 after some very, very long decisions that were made and stuff like that, and after some very beautiful holidays here in the Algarve, which kind of led us to the decision to come to the Algarve and set up a care service of this description. It was kind of born in 2017. It actually stemmed from a conversation that I had with a lady. I hope she doesn't mind me calling her by her first name, just for identification reasons. But we stayed at Camp in Albufeira. It was absolutely brilliant. We had the most amazing holiday. It was cooked as roast potatoes would be in our little blue tent. But had a lovely conversation with a lady called Joan there, and she'd unfortunately lost her husband to cancer and dementia, and unfortunately had to care for him single-handedly through both of those awful diseases, and really without anybody that she felt she could turn to, such as a care agency like Algarve Care Services. And I obviously told her what I used to do in the UK, which was caring, and we got our own training company over there. And I also set up a care managers network over there, and I was developing underperforming care homes. So I was talking to Joan about this, and she said, "Oh, you should come to Portugal, and you should come and set up a care service over here, and because it's so well needed and there's just nothing like it here." So the light bulb kind of switched on, and lo and behold, a couple of months later, after our holiday finished at Camp in Albufeira, we moved to Portugal, and born was Algarve Care Services in the October.
Wow.
So yeah, that's kind of where it all started. I have since seen Joan, God bless her. She is one of many Facebook friends, bless her, but I do actually see her in person. I do have the fortunate privilege of having a lot of friends here now in the Algarve, and unfortunately so many of them tell me a similar story about how that they've just sometimes felt so stuck in times of crisis, or health crisis anyway, with nowhere to turn. So yes, that's kind of where it was all born from, and it's just grown from there, really.
Yeah, it's something that you don't know that you need until you really need it.
Yeah.
I think community, and you can be it can be a little bit bewildering. Just simple things, simple injuries, going to the hospital, knowing how to navigate just emergency services.
No, yeah.
in a foreign country.
ironically, you say that actually, because our one of our little slogans is it's better to know us and not need us than to need
Yeah,
us and not
yeah.
know us. So
Brilliant. Okay,
yeah,
yeah, it really is true. And I come from personal experience, but one of the reasons actually we moved to the island of Asia was because my father, my late father, he died last year, had Parkinson's disease, and he had it, I don't know, 30 years. It was completely crazy, the length of time that he'd suffered. Well,
yep.
he didn't actually suffer really so much because he was such a tough guy. He didn't, he was so concerned about all of us, and how we were with him, gradually sort of degrading, I suppose, or
And that,
changing, and
yeah, that's the sad kind of story about it all, though. That's the story of so many people just in different journeys and different ways.
yeah,
Fundamentally, it kind of all comes back to the same thing, that it doesn't seem to be the person with dementia that's actually suffering in lots of ways. It's the family that are watching their loved one
yeah,
pass away right in front of them, but alive.
yeah,
So you kind of mourn for that person twice.
yeah,
Once when they're diagnosed with the disease, which Parkinson falls under the umbrella of dementia, unfortunately, as well.
mm,
And yeah, that's a sad kind of thing. You kind of losing them there and then, whilst you can still hold them and maybe give them a cuddle and
yeah,
have that affection. In some ways, a lot of it's very empty and blank because they really don't know they're here and haven't got a clue what's going on enough to respond emotionally to anything other than
mm,
with maybe potential fear and fright. But that's another characteristic that a family member would hold, or a family caregiver,
mm,
because they're just so unprepared for what this journey holds in front of them, unless, of course, that they've experienced it before, which unfortunately, again, so many people have.
mm. Well, this was my idea because it was, to have, my dad was ex England rugby player, so he's like 6'4", and he'd lost a lot of weight. But for my little mum to just get him out of bed to go to the toilet was just impossible. So she would have to relied on care services in the UK, and I think the different ways that they do it, it would have meant having 4 care service personnel or something, and it was just crazy. My mum was so worried about it, and he actually sort of passed on before he got to that point. But the idea for me was to bring him here to Algarve so I could help, and we could actually get a service like you, which
Hmm.
would be much more cost effective than a private company in the UK, or the National Health Service or whatever. There was really crazy, actually. The
Yeah, it's something that, my God, I wish I could give it away free to everybody, but
mm,
unfortunately, we have carers to pay, and we've got overheads to obviously be able to afford, and that's the sad thing about it, that it's not fully funded, like some of the other horrible diseases are. There's lots and lots of awareness about it. Although I say that, it's getting better, a lot better. Um, my first experience of dementia came, for those listeners that have been maybe to visit the website, you will see my story on there. But my first experience of dementia was when my nan felt very, very sick. And she was in her house. She used to live alone. And she said to me, I went to visit her. She used to have a beautiful chime above her door because she was partially sighted as well.
mm,
So in order to know anybody that was going into the house, this chime used to ring every time you opened the door. And being the staunch, salty Brummie that she was, taught me all the swear words that I know, and said to me, kind of lost, Kelly, can we go and buy some slippers? And I said, yes, of course, no problem, Nan. Bearing in mind she lived in Devon at the time. And she said, can we go to buy these slippers in Brewbury? Now, for
yeah,
those from Birmingham
yeah,
that are listening in, you will know that that's in very, very much so the locality of Birmingham. And she kind of looked really sort of confused when I said to her, Nan, we can't go to Rubery, but I can take you to Brixham if you like. And she was like kind of confused about that. And it was the very first signs of dementia that we picked up on. But with that came an intrigue into dementia as well, and wondering how this wonderfully strong, very, very staple part of the family could go from being this wonderfully strong staple part of the family to being somebody that couldn't even remember her own name or even remember who her children or granddaughters were. And that was a really significant and poignant turning point in my life as well, because that's when I started to really study dementia and get behind it. Because I'm a firm believer in, forearmed is forewarned. So if
Yeah.
you kind of know what to expect on this journey, and you can give people a few tools and tactics and a few kind of insights into kind of what to expect, then they stand a better chance of giving that person the best quality of life that they possibly can. And that's what's the most important thing here, and that's what the really real key message is to home in on those skills of those that have got them in order to learn more and more about it, so we can spread the awareness, lose the stigma, and make sure these people have really, really good quality of life, should they be diagnosed with a dementia journey.
Yeah, it must be. You know what? I really feel for the families as well, like the families, because I was racked with guilt a lot of the time that I couldn't do enough, and you kind of have to realize that you need professionals because they know what to do and how to do it. And I just, you know what, you sort of feel a little bit lost, and you feel a little bit like you want to do this and you want to do that, but it's not always possible, and that gives you a real sense of guilt. And
some of my family couldn't even go and see my nan because they felt so guilty for even move, because eventually she did have to go into a nursing home. And some of my family just felt like they couldn't bring themselves to go to the nursing home to see her. But that was, you've got to kind of accept that, because some people are not in that mindset where they can handle it. They'd rather remember somebody in their vibrant years and be able to attend to that. Other people can and will, even if it's against their will, they will do it. But other people, you can't. And it's like you said, like we said at the beginning of the podcast, sometimes it's too much, and it's the family that are affected more than the person with dementia. So we just have to just sort of kind of remember that. But the team are fantastic at Algarve Care Services, and I really do think the world of it. We had a wonderful lady called Christine Toff. She came down and done some amazing training with the girls in the office, and that was just that lots of them went away feeling very sort of empowered and fresh with new information and ways of dealing with people with dementia, because I think in every carer's lifetime, especially working for a company such as Algarve Care Services, they will come across that point where they work with somebody with dementia, because it's growing into such a big thing now, and people are becoming more and more aware of it every day. So it's really, really important to get that notion.
As well for your staff.
Yeah,
It
absolutely.
must take a lot out of them. They must get connected as well, and then that person sort of passes on, and then you're,
of course.
Wow. Yeah.
I think that's the unfortunate side of the job. We do get the privilege of looking after lots of wonderful people, and not all of them have got dementia. Let me just set that point straight. There's lots of people that just need a little bit of help and a little bit of shopping and maybe a little bit of companionship if they've lost a loved one, or they want to go out and get some shopping in or go to an appointment or something like that. That's what the carers are there for. That's what they're there to assist with. And it's nice for them to know that there's going to be somebody coming in maybe twice a week or every day for a couple of hours, just to have that company in their house. And in fact, actually, that leads me on quite nicely. I know you're going to ask me about this, but we've got an amazing campaign that we've just launched for Christmas actually this year. It's something that's really, really close to my heart. And that's about raising awareness about people that live alone and people that live alone with dementia. And that's our next big thing that we're going to be doing.
Yeah. Tell us all about this campaign. How do people see it? What do they do? And where is it? And what's going on?
It was kind of born out of our experiences as carers and as a passionate care company about making sure that the community is all included in what we're doing. We did a lot of work last year around memory cafes and bringing the community in, people specifically with memory problems and their family carers that could come along to very inclusive environments where they take part in activities, dementia-friendly activities, things that would get people together. So the family support workers have got peer support, and they've got a friendly ear to maybe tell a story to or to ask some advice. But equally, the person that's living with dementia can come out as well and don't have to feel like, strange because they can't remember things or because they're repeating themselves or something like that. It's a wonderful initiative, and we are still pushing on, and we're very much pushing forward with that. But it's kind of one of those things that are popular in some places and not in others. And unfortunately, they're not as popular in Portugal at the moment as what they are maybe in other ways. And so that's something that we're raising awareness with as well. Now, from that came this new campaign, because what we found when we analysed our customer database, that a lot of our clients lived alone. A lot of them were unable to travel to these types of places to be involved and to get involved. And so we thought, how can we raise awareness within our communities to actually look out for these people that are living alone? And how can we make them aware of the little things that they can look for that might be telltale signs that somebody is living alone and maybe feeling quite down and depressed, because it's one of the root causes of dementia. And that's very, very important. And so we came up with the idea that it actually stemmed from me finding a stone on a bench in Albufeira, and somebody had painted this beautiful scene on it and left a really wonderful message underneath it. And it was take me home, display me on the shelf, and make sure you know that somebody was thinking of you when this stone was made, when this picture on this stone was made. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. And I thought, I wonder how we could interpret that into maybe something to do with dementia. And we came up with the Share Bear campaign. And the Share Bear campaign is a campaign, a winter initiative, a lovely, very special time of the year for lots and lots of people. And it's about raising awareness of loneliness. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave a lot of teddy bears, donated teddy bears, might I add, which I'll ask for at the end if you don't mind, Justin. We're going to be leaving some teddy bears in very, very public spaces around the Algarve for people to find, and they're called Share Bears. And what they're there to do is give a hug to somebody that is living alone, or is living alone with memory problems, or that's lost somebody recently and is looking for some companionship, or somebody that you know that's just generally struggling a lot, and they could do with the interaction of maybe a community spirit. And so when you find these Care Bears, they'll have a little message on them to let you know that they are a Share Bear. And you may be able to take your photo, upload it onto the website. If you scan the QR code on the Care Bear that they'll come with, keep saying Care Bear, I mean Share Bear. Scan the QR code, upload your photo, tell us a little bit where you found him or her or it, and then gift it to somebody that is in this vulnerable position. And they get invited then to a solidarity lunch in December that we're going to organise for everybody that is gifted a Share Bear, to bring the community together and really, really sort of lose that whole loneliness, and let people know that there are people that are out there looking out for them and that care about them and want them to be a part of the community if they want to be. If they don't, that's fine. But just to let somebody know that there are people out there for them.
Nice. So it's like an icebreaker. So it's a good, because I can imagine other people would be like, I noticed this person is alone. I say hello to them every other day or whatever, and I want to do more, but I don't want to sort of come in on their personal space, and you perhaps,
That's
sort
right.
of offering them something like that is like an olive branch, and yeah, nice, an
Exactly.
icebreaker, an excuse. I found this and it has this and it's all about a lunch and okay, nice.
Exactly. And it's, how can you refuse a teddy bear? Everybody some point squeezes a teddy bear.
Yeah.
I know I've got a whole bedroom full that I need to donate, definitely. So I'm the chief donator at the moment.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure it gives them a new home as well.
We've had a really, really lovely response. We still need to raise some more. We've had an amazing response so far, but we're still looking for a lot more care bears or share bears for people to donate.
Okay.
I know this podcast obviously goes far and wide, but we've had some amazing offers even from delivery companies that come from other countries that
Wow.
if you've got a bag of
A
teddy
bag of
bears that you
bears.
want to donate, you can send them to their depot.
All right.
And they will bring them over to Portugal for us.
Okay, nice.
And so that's been lovely. And also those that are living in the Algarve, there's various different drop-off collection points around the Algarve.
Okay. Do you have like a page on the website that sort of lists all the drop-off points and these companies?
We've got a QR code that's available. We can send that to you if you jump onto the website and send us an email. You can send it to our inquiries line, or you can send it to sharebear@algarvecare.com.
Okay.
And then we can pick that up. And we will send you the link, or you can go onto our Facebook page, and it's all over the Facebook page.
So in the show notes and the summary here, I can literally put that a couple of those URLs, and
Sure.
That'll direct people to how to donate bears and
yeah,
okay.
absolutely. And don't keep them coming as well. Don't stop, because this is hopefully something that we want to
Just
grow
keep
year
going.
on year.
Nice.
So as much help and support as we can get as possible. And if there's any people that would like to support the event by donating towards the cost of the campaign as well, this is all something that is obviously made possible by fundraising. So
do you have like a fundraising like campaign on GoFundMe or something like that as well?
That's the next step.
Okay.
Yeah, we were just talking to various people about the best way to do that, and I think we are going to set up some GoFundMe page in the meantime.
I think you can also do it on Instagram, on your Instagram account. You can also do that. It's very simple. There's a couple of buttons you press for funding.
Right, great stuff.
So.
Yeah,
I'm not sure on Facebook, but I think I've definitely seen it on Instagram.
Yeah, we've had a couple of donations so far, which we're eternally grateful for, because that's now allowing us to start to make plans for the Solidarity lunch. So that's amazing. And obviously, if we can raise the awareness over the next 3 months up until January, that would be superb. And hopefully some of those people that did receive a share bear this year will be ambassadors for next year's campaign, and we can really, really raise awareness across the whole of Portugal and beyond, I guess.
Yeah, so this is all happening to start with in the Algarve, and then it's going to, of course, keep spreading outwards from.
Yep, definitely, 100%. Yeah, 100%. Dementia is unfortunately not restricted to just one place. It's all over the world, and who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? It might be a worldwide campaign one day.
Nice. Yeah, there was something like that in the UK, wasn't there? Spotted bear or something. Was it?
That's right. Yeah, Pudsey Bear, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, that would be really good. And you're actually Algarve Care Services also are moving into new regions of Portugal. So.
Exactly. Yeah, we've got a big expansion program ready for next year. We will be launching in Cascais, in Lisbon, and in Porto.
Nice.
And then spreading ourselves out to the other regions as well. So yeah, we're really, really looking forward to that. Really excited. And definitely be looking to recruit carers in the area. So if anybody's listening that knows
Great.
carers that are looking for job opportunities or career opportunities, we'd very much like to hear from them.
And they'll
So
sort
yes,
of
thank
have
you.
like so if, say, for example, you have the center in Lisbon, and how far outside of Lisbon will that extend? Like 5, 10 kilometers, or
Hey, you know what? That's all going to be dependent on who comes forward to work for us.
yeah.
You know, we try and serve as many people as we can, no matter how remote they live. I mean, look at Alan Tayshuk for a start off. It's from one side of Portugal to the other,
Pretty much,
and
yeah.
anything in between. And you know, so we've got to be able to try and get to these people in the best way we can. Sometimes it might be a matter of live-in care, so the carer
Mm,
stays with the person as opposed to come away on an hourly basis or visits on an hourly basis. Um, if they're in more urban areas, it's more viable and possible to provide hourly care services where they come in maybe once a day, but for 3 hours, or several times a day for maybe a couple of hours or something. It's anything's possible, but we just got to have the resources there. So,
yeah.
and we never cancel anything or eliminate anything out. We do our very, very best to serve everybody we can in the best way we can.
Yeah, because I can imagine there's lots of people have moved here from different countries, and there will come a point, and I think it's something that everybody needs to think about, that your parents are getting older, and maybe there'll just be one left, and maybe at some time in the future they're going to want to probably be near their family, their grandchildren, and so to have an understanding of what you can provide for that parent or grandparent, moving them over here to Portugal, putting them in a
Hmm.
nice with the family in the house, but also having a care service would be an ideal situation, really.
Exactly, and you're a great ambassador for that because you've already done that.
Yeah.
But on the flip side of the coin of that, there's also children that maybe live in other countries that have got parents here, and they're getting elderly, they're falling. Maybe,
Okay.
maybe they might not be in a hugely comfortable financial position, something like that, and they're thinking, you know what, well, maybe we have to move them back home because there's no other choice. Well, there is a choice, and you
Okay.
just need to talk to us because you have to remember that certainly us as expats that have moved to Portugal and anybody else that has moved to anywhere else in the world is that we move there for a reason. We don't necessarily want to go back to our
Mm.
native home. I know that I definitely don't want to go back to the UK. And I'll do everything I can possibly in my life to stay in Portugal, or maybe somewhere else if I decide to move somewhere else. But my family ultimately reside in the UK.
Mm.
Um, but I think that's just got to be taken into consideration when you're making that choice for another person, is to make sure that you've covered all your options before you come to the final decision of how somebody else's life is gonna be if that is in your hands. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
there are so many people that get that decision taken out of their hands because families think that the best thing to do is to move them back home, and sometimes that is the case, by the way,
Mm.
but sometimes there are other options that may be more, suitable for the person that's living abroad. But just food for thought, just something to
Yeah.
consider.
Yeah. Yeah. It is, and I think it's so important, and to feel that there is things out there is services out there, there's other people out there that really care, and I think these days community is so important. It's becoming more and more important, and think
Yeah.
especially when you're and you're moving to different places, and it's not just about I'm an English expat and I just want to get to know a bunch of other English people. It's not as simple as that, is it? It's more
No.
we just want people just want to sort of know other people. When you move to a new place, you don't necessarily know a lot of people. um,
Exactly, exactly. But so do the true reality of the fact is that we're all different. We're all come in all sorts of shapes, walks, and mindsets and things like that. Some people don't want to be around other people. They just want to know that there's somebody there,
yeah,
maybe
true.
if they needed them, and there's other people that thrive on being around other people, and they can't think of anything worse than living on their own or anything like that. So, I think us as a human race, we have to be appreciative of all of the different walks of life, and make sure that when it does come to the point, if somebody does need help and care and support, that it's dealt with in a genuinely sensitive way,
Yeah.
and that we're providing in the very,
Humane,
very,
yeah.
yes, exactly, and we're providing in the best possible way we can, as opposed to uh, just settling for a decision that maybe we've made for ourselves because that's the only thing that we thought that was available, or because of our families thought that was the only thing available. But
Yeah.
it is it's a very difficult time of life. If I've got any advice for anybody that is out there looking maybe for care support services for their parents, is do your homework. Make sure that you check out the credibility of the company that you're working or that you're interested in. Make sure they've got a license. Every care company in Portugal has to carry a license with the social services here, else they are not legal.
Mm-hmm.
They must be registered as a company, and they must carry licenses. Their carers must carry licenses, and they must carry criminal record checks. And you, as customers and the general public, can request that information at any time from any of the care providers here, and they should be able to provide that for you.
Brilliant.
So
Brilliant.
it's a really, really, really good point, a very important point, because there's so many people that are scammed, ripped off,
I can't imagine.
cheated on, stolen from. It's crazy. It's yeah,
Mm.
just it's really important that's taken into consideration.
I mean, what is the alternative? And in a lot of ways, it's like you go. I mean, if you're, you grow old here, you're sort of unable really to look after yourself. I mean, the next step here in terms of sort of social,
Yeah.
care homes and things, how would someone who was, say, living in the US try to organize that for their parent here? And, it's so worrying. It's so, yeah, you just probably don't think about it until it comes a time. It's like, oh, we need to do something about this. And
Yeah, and I
where to
think this
start?
is yeah, exactly. And pre-planning is so important. I think I can count on one hand how many clients I had ring me to say, Kelly, we just want to just know a little bit more about your services. We don't need you at this certain time. We're glad we know you, but we don't need you.
Yeah, yeah.
But we really want to know all of our options just in case it reaches that point in our life
Oh, so they're calling for
that we do need
themselves.
one.
They're calling for themselves.
Yeah,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
their sons and daughters or aunts or uncle, whoever's looking after it, to the next person. It's just getting that information so you're pre-warned, so you're already set up. You've got that armor in your bag, and you've got options. And then if it comes nearer to the time, or you notice differences in your health where you feel that actually, you know what, it's coming, and I feel that I'm going to need some support probably in the next coming months, maybe a year, who knows, then let's talk to Algarve Care Services or similar companies, and let's get that advice in the bag now, so we're not fighting fires as and when the time comes, because that is normally when people contact us, unfortunately, when somebody's been rushed into hospital because they've had a stroke, or because um, mum's fell and she's been found on the floor at home and she's been taken into hospital and they can't get over for a couple of days, or because they're on the other side of the world and they can't get hold of their
Mm.
loved one. Nobody seems to be picking up, and they don't seem to have any numbers to contact anybody to go round, and all of that sort of stuff. It's kind of firefighting at that last minute without having the preparation in place first, and it just makes things so much easier.
Yeah, I imagine. I mean, my dad had a few falls, and yeah, so he broke. He had to have a couple of hips replaced from a really nasty fall, but he would refuse to be in a wheelchair, because he said, I
Yeah.
can do it, and then he
It's a
would freeze up,
generation
and
thing though, Justin.
yeah,
I
he did
swear to God, it's a generation of staunch,
it.
strong, strong-willed people that have been through wars, have been through troublesome times, have had to fend for themselves, have haven't had these things that they can rely on and just call on. People didn't have loads and loads of money back in those days to afford for lots of different things. And, they had to fight. They had to fight for every single day for survival. And this is the generation that we are now caring for. And so you're going to come across these problems. Of course you are, because that's just the very nature of their makeup. It's how they're brought up.
And it's growing. And, that's the thing. I think people are living longer now. And with longevity, towards the end, becomes a lot more dementia and a lot more sort of things that have to be cared for, because I'm assuming really that when people get old, they kind of will pass on from a disease or whatever at a moment, rather than sort of extended period of sort of mental decline.
That's it, exactly. And I mean, God bless the people that don't have to go through all of that. I guess my dad was one of those very, very lucky people. He literally turned the lights out and off he went, kind of thing. Likewise with mum, she was diagnosed with dementia in 2020. In the December of 2020, she went into hospital with a water infection on New Year's Eve, and passed away 12 days later. But for lots of reasons, I've got I've got a lot to thank COVID for. Although it did take my mum, she didn't have to go through years and years and years of living with dementia and climbing the walls with not being able to remember her kids' names and stuff like that. So it depends which way you look at it. It's life's experiences, isn't it? And it just depends on which way you kind of sort of take them on board about how you deal with them.
I always remember my dad
in all
saying,
fairness, I respect.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry,
Go
go
on.
on. No, that's okay.
No, I always
Carry on.
remember my dad saying, he was always used to say, like, if he was to have another life, he wouldn't trade the life that he had, even with the Parkinson's, because it all was part and parcel of the story of his life, So, the past experiences and everything, and the way we were with him, and it's. I think, it's such a getting old and stuff. And fragility. It's a tough one. It's a tough
It
one.
is. It is a tough one, but then again, you don't. I don't think you have that choice of when you go. I'm a firm believer that when your day's up, that's it. And there's so many people that have lived wonderful, wonderful lives that I've had the very privilege of sitting in front of, listening to. I was very privileged to have looked after one of the oldest people in England. She was 113 when she died.
113, really?
113, and she even did a skydive on her 100th birthday.
Yeah, that's probably why she lived to
Woman of my own
113.
heart.
Yeah, wow.
But she was absolutely amazing, a lady from Devon, and she was just incredible, honestly. And that's just one of very many, many stories that I've had the fortune to listen to and hear about. There's been ladies that have been spies in the war. There was gentlemen that have like saved like hundreds of people's lives doing various different things. Amazing people like NASA. We had a gentleman that used to work for NASA, a mathematician. Oh my goodness, honestly, it just insane stories that you could never ever have believed you would possibly hear unless you had the privilege of meeting these wonderful people. And I just admire your podcast so much because I listen to it myself, and
great.
you do hear so many very different people and their reasons, and
it's going to be great at your lunch times as well, because hopefully everybody will get together and hear each other's stories. It'll be fantastic.
Absolutely, and it's great to be a part of the whole Portugal expat scene. I love this country and I love the people in it, and I'm eternally grateful for being able to be a part of this and to have my business here. And we're based down in Albufeira in Valdepara. Our offices are there, so you're very welcome, whoever is in the area, to come along and see us.
Great.
And so, yeah, just come and be a part of it. Jump on the fun bus and come and be a part of the Share Bear campaign.
And tell everyone, what is your website? This episode of Podcast Portugal is brought to you by Flow Sports. If you're into jiu-jitsu, wrestling, rugby, cycling, basketball, and many more sports, Flow Sports have you covered. Stream live events, watch exclusive behind-the-scenes content, and dive into a world of top-tier sports coverage, all on one app. Don't miss a moment. Tap the link in the show notes to start watching with Flow Sports today. So, Kelly, what is the best way for people to get in contact with you regards to the Share Bear campaign, and also if they have family members or no family members, or that need a carer or Algarve Care Services, or even advice about the future and how they can prepare?
No worries. We're always open. Care never sleeps, whether it's Christmas Day or any other day or night or day, it doesn't matter. So we are always available on our website, which is www.algarvecare.com, which can be found in the podcast notes, I believe.
Yeah.
And also you can contact us on our phone number, which is also in the notes, which is Portugal 351 927 688 677.
Okay.
And alternatively, you can WhatsApp us via the website, and you can also email us as well.
Right.
We do have a QR code, but it's actually literally just been brought to my attention in the last 15 minutes that one of the QR codes that went out isn't working.
Okay.
So if you do have any problems with the QR codes, just drop us a line on any of those other methods. We're all over social media. We've got Instagram account and we've got a Facebook account. So you can just Google Algarve Care Services and we will come up. I think our Instagram handle is Algarve Care 24/7.
Okay, nice.
And Facebook is Algarve Care Services. So yeah, just jump on board and have a look and see what we're all about.
And look out for some bears.
Yeah, look out for some bears. Follow the bear trail.
You're going to get families hunting them now. It's going to be a weekend activity. Let's go hunt for some bears.
Let's go hunt for some bears. Well, that's absolutely fine as long as they've got loads of people they can give it to.
Yeah, exactly. That might be important to make a note of that. Like, if you find a bear, the idea is you pass it to somebody that you feel needs. Yeah. Okay. Good.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure we're going to lose a few along the way, but as long as they're taken home and loved, it's not too much of an issue. But that's why we need to gather sort of around about 250 bears.
Yeah.
Because we would really, really like to see at least 50 to 60 people here at the Solidarity Lunch.
Yeah.
Just to start us off with and see how we go.
Great. And there'll be a QR code on the bear and a message, so it's all very obvious.
QR code on the bear and on the message, yeah. So it'll all be very clear by that point and all working, hopefully. Nice. She says with optimism about technology.
Yeah. Great.
So,
all right,
yeah.
Kelly. So nice to speak to you, and really nice to find out about all of these things and such a worthwhile cause. And I think you guys, your team, you bring a lot of comfort to both patients and families. I think that cannot be overlooked.
Thank you. And that is very much down to my team, and I think I dedicate that comment to them, because without them we wouldn't be the amazing company that we are.
Makes such a difference, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It really does. And I'm very proud of each and every single one of them. And whilst we don't want you to get sick and ill, if you do, then we are always going to be here for you.
Great.
That's us. That's what we do.
Nice, Kelly. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks so much for your time.
You. You're welcome. Thank you ever so much, everybody, for listening, and thank you, Justin, for this opportunity. It's been amazing. Thank you.
It's a pleasure. This is Justin West from Podcast Portugal. Signing out.
Stay under the rock. I'm gone. I think I hold and hide on my magazines. collapsing. I just need some time, some focusing. I got the pen, I got the sheet, I got my plan, I got my screen. Someone tell me please the reasoning.